Hi, I'm Baldwin Berges, and I'm here with my friend Jaime de la Barra of Compass Asset Management. How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We're in Hong Kong on the Fund Forum Asia 2013, and Jaime, you're a man I always see at these events. You are probably the most active promoter of investing in Latin America to foreign investors. I mean, you're everywhere. I bump into you in Boston. I bump into you in Monaco. I bump
No,
into you.
Monaco, I haven't been. Unfortunately, I haven't been in Monaco.
But I did see you in Doha, right?
No,
No?
just Sao Paulo and Hong
Okay.
Kong. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it
Sao
seems
Paulo
like
and Hong Kong.
it does seem like you're everywhere. But Jaime, your main Compass is an interesting group because I think you take the full story outside of Latin America because you're everywhere there. I mean, you are based in the key markets, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, yes, we're based in 8 cities in Latin America.
Okay.
Not in Brazil yet, but we cover Brazil from Buenos Aires and from New York.
Mm-hmm. And you're based in Chile, right?
Yes, I'm based in Santiago.
Okay.
Been
Nice.
there for the last 16 years.
Nice
Since
one.
we started Compass there.
Okay, and I think the Latin America story for investors has become a whole lot more complete, hasn't it? It seems like there's a lot more to say all of a sudden. There's more texture, more depth, right?
As you say, I've been telling the story of Latin America outside of our normal markets for the last probably 2 to 3 years. The first 15 years of our company were mostly catering towards a growing base of institutional investors and private investors in the region. Most, I would say, investors outside of Latin America didn't or were not very interested in the region as the locals were.
Right.
So that was something that was always a little bit puzzling for us, because when locals are interested in investing in their own region and they deploy extensive amounts of capital within their same countries, and there's this huge gap in terms of risk perception between the locals and the foreigners. There's definitely those places where you want to invest.
Right.
So that's the story we have been telling increasingly in the last 2 to 3 years, especially after Brazil slowed down a little bit, because this whole BRIC concept implied that many global investors thought that Brazil was all, Latin America was only Brazil.
Right.
But in this period of 3 years in which Brazil has underperformed, in which the commodity boom has tapered off, in which after the financial crisis, governments are exerting much more power in the traditional sectors where global investors were able to invest, meaning commodities, financials, utilities, and telecoms. Those 4 sectors now are under pressure by governments, and this virtuous cycle of commodity revenues, responsible governments, now is in a way filtering down to other companies, to companies that cater to the new middle class, to the consumer, the new consumer. When income per capita start reaching certain levels, some goods and services that were not demanded in these economies now start to be demanded. Right. And that's a story that's really, really exciting. And we're seeing that in Brazil, in Mexico, in Chile, in Peru, in Colombia. Very interesting stories away from the traditional large commodity producers, banks, large banks, telecoms, and utilities.
How many people live across your markets?
It's around 300 million people.
Right, it's something to be reckoned with. Huh?
Actually, it's more than that if you include Mexico.
Right.
Because it's only South America that's around 300.
Right.
But if you add up Mexico, it's more close, like it's closer to 500 million people.
No, that's
which is a sizable market, and the headlines many times show the bad side of South America. The economic troubles in Venezuela or the nationalizations in Argentina. But there is an amazingly interesting story in a thing called the Pacific Alliance,
Right.
which is a political group, but that or a foreign policy group, but that has free trade and development goals set up by Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. That is very, very promising. Very,
Absolutely.
very promising.
There's a lot to learn about this place. So, in Jaime de la Barra and Compass Group, your guide to Latin America for investors.